Carla Olsen is a 7-year-old girl. She has a mum, a dog and many friends. But there's one thing Carla doesn't have: a father.
When she was 1.5 years old, we were just playing around and she looked at me and said, "Mother," and then Carla, and then she looked at me with big questions in her eyes. "Dad?"
Carla was conceived through artificial insemination with the help of a sperm donor. At the age of 39, Pia Olsen was newly single. The dream of having a child was slipping through her fingers. For her, there was only one option left in order to get pregnant: turning to a fertility clinic.
The worst thing I could imagine was to live the rest of my life without having this child. It was not my first choice, but it was the best choice I had at the time.
In Denmark, 1 out of 10 children born every year is conceived through artificial insemination. That's the highest rate in the world. Of this number, 10% of children are born from single mothers.
If you look to Denmark, which is a society I know best, there's an increase of education, which means that there's an expectation that you do not have children before you finish your education. And that means that some women, they become older before they start thinking of having a family. And that's the same with the men, which gives, for many women, a time frame for maybe 5, 6, 7 years to find the partner they want to have a family with, and to get pregnant.
I think I'm brought up in a family where I was told that before you have a child, then you have to have a husband and you have to have a house and you have to have a fine economy and you have to have all these things in place. And I did everything like just after the book, like what I was expected to do. But it just turned out that I was 30 when I was finished. And when I finished, I was unemployed. So I wasn't in a position where I actually could see myself having a child before I was 34.
Danish women are not the only ones hoping for a last chance pregnancy. Singles come from all over Europe to take advantage of the liberal Danish laws, as in most of their home countries, artificial insemination for singles is an illegal grey zone. In France, Switzerland, Italy and Austria, for example, it is explicitly forbidden by law.
The EU has tried to harmonize part of the legislation, the legislation on quality and security of tissue and cells. But then each nation interprets this legislation. So actually you have right now an extremely complex structure of legislation.
In Copenhagen, the average age for women to get their first child is 32. The city recently launched a public awareness campaign asking citizens, "Have you counted your eggs today?" The goal of the administration was to make young people aware of the decline of their fertility as they get older.
There's kind of a norm that you're, as a female, if you get your child during your education, that's not a good thing. I think that can be a good thing for a lot of people.
Denmark provides social support for young women who are students and mothers. For instance, they get an annual social benefit of an additional 6,000 Danish kroner. But to Stine, more should be done to support students who want to start a family.
My university is quite hard. You have to work quite hard if you decide to have children during your studies. So if you as a society wants your citizens to be able to have that choice, you need also to create a framework for that.
If I could do it again, I would just have the child when I felt like having a child. It doesn't matter whether you're a student or whatever. It doesn't matter. You will work it out.
For single women desperate for having a baby, sperm donation can be a blessing. But their children can suffer from identity issues. In Denmark, reproduction laws allow sperm donors to stay anonymous, thus making it impossible for children to meet their biological father.
I think it's very important that the child has the right to come back and search for the person who have given the gene material. Where do I come from? That's a basic question for every person. And I think the child should have the right to know that. So, in my opinion, there shouldn't be any anonymous donor.
To explain to her daughter and hundreds of other children born from artificial insemination where they come from, Pia decided to write children books to throw light on their biological backgrounds.
She doesn't know the concept of having a father. I think when she grows up, it will be more, she might talk more about it. I think for now she's quite happy as it is. Maybe it will be difficult sometimes, but then we have to cry together. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see when she grows up.